Welcome back. We're on part 2 of episode 53, and we're talking about the best WWE Champion of all time tournament. Now, before we get into the next group of matches, which is round 2, part 3, we need to go over round 2, part 2, and those match results were as follows. Edge beat Sergeant Slaughter 42-2. Not really too surprised there. Edge is, we already made all the reasons why you should vote for Edge over Slaughter.
I voted Slaughter still.
You still did?
Yeah.
Nobody else did. Well, one other did.
No, but there is a reason, but we'll go into that later. I've said my piece.
Bruno Sammartino lost to Hulk Hogan 27-15. Pretty much if anybody was going to beat Sammartino, it was going to be one of these big guns like that. So, I'm not too surprised about Hogan beating him. Hogan's going to be incredibly hard, if not impossible, to beat in this tournament.
Of course, he was the face of the WWE for quite a long time.
Right. And Bret Hart beats Yokozuna 40-1. I think that one vote might be Chuck, our friend Chuck, because he was saying he would vote for Yokozuna or something. Not surprised about that one either, because of, obviously, Yoko, even though he was good for what he was, Bret was just that much better.
Yeah, but Yoko was a commodity. It showed after he lost the championship and tried to, gain a character, it didn't work when they tried turning him face. And it's because he was a commodity. He was great for his streak, and he was great as being the monster heel, and that was it.
Right, yeah. And then we had actually a tie for the most part, but Kurt Angle squeaks by a victory over Chris Jericho, 23-22.
Recount.
Yeah. Recount, let's see. I'm going to refresh the page right now, and it'll still be 23-22.
Recount.
What is this, an election? Vote Obama.
I want everybody to have a friggin' license when they come up to vote this time, because I think Chris Jericho was screwed.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jericho, I believe, should have progressed further than Angle. But again, you know my opinion on that one.
Well, I think that both are pretty much guaranteed to lose to Bret Hart. So
yeah, definitely.
It'll balance out in the end anyway.
Bret screwed Bret. He tried to walk out with that championship. Bret is a horrible person.
Hey, but see, that's why he was a better champion, because he wanted to cling on to that as much as possible.
Saying that, mate, if he did walk out with the championship, it would have been some compelling television.
That would have been good.
Mm-hmm.
He would have popped up at Comic-Con.
There you go.
These new sets of matches. First off, we have Steve Austin, Stone Cold, if you're JR.
Stone Cold!
Against Jeff Hardy and another person.
He's stoned! He's stoned!
Stone Cold's another one that's pretty much almost impossible to beat in this tournament. Certainly Jeff Hardy is not a better champion than him as far as I'm concerned. It's Steve Austin is up there with Cena and Hogan and The Rock and all the people like that. Hardy, nowhere near it.
If anyone votes Hardy over Austin, I would literally I'll walk out in my pants.
5 people have right now.
My God.
It's 19-5 at the moment.
Are
they're
you
probably
serious?
Not from the Stone Cold generation.
Yeah, they're probably just Jeff Hardy fans started voting for him out of popularity.
Oh, he paints his face, yay!
Look, all I'm saying is when you got one of your fans to give you illegal drugs, just saying, your creatures of the night are probably guys that sit there getting stoned at home. Yeah, Jeff, really?
We all going with Stone Cold here?
Stone Cold, definitely. If anybody votes Jeff over Steve Austin, then they're really blind in regards to what wrestling was about. Austin made the WWE into $1 billion company. Jeff just smoked it.
Here's where Urban goes. I voted for Jeff Hardy.
I think Urban's disappeared.
The suspense is killing me.
Urban.
The audio's been cutting in and out. I can't hear you guys at all.
Maybe you should take your laptop off the toilet.
Jeff Hardy against Steve Austin. What do you think, Urban?
I am a fan of fingerless gloves, but I'm going Austin, obviously.
Right, yeah. Then we have Brock Lesnar against Ric Flair. I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for here. I'm probably just going to go for Flair because, even though Lesnar was, he was the quote-unquote next big thing, and, they put everything in that basket and all that, I don't know.
Right, let me say this. Lesnar's not a great talker. Flair was. Lesnar didn't go all the way around from town to town to town defending the NWA Championship. Lesnar did not put a guy over when the guy was literally onto the point that he was going to retire, that he was out, his career was done, and Flair put the guy over. And this is talking about the Macho Man here. He reinvigorated the Macho Man's career and got him to the point where he was a solid main eventer again. All I'm saying, Flair, you guys literally need to look at Flair's history and the fact that this guy has carried company after company and after company and has done, his short time in the WWE, he did an amazing job. I know Lesnar had just a shorter time, but in regards to being WWE Champion, and yes, you can say, well, he carried the title over to SmackDown. He literally had the brand on his shoulders. I do understand that. And he did have a load of amazing matches for the championship, including a Iron Man match with Kurt Angle on SmackDown, which was never ever done on free TV before. So I do agree with that, and he did a hell of a lot with the championship. But I would say Flair, in my opinion.
See, I'm leaning towards Flair over everybody just because of the fact that if you're gonna argue, you could say that obviously between the companies and stuff, Flair was more of a WCW and an NWA guy than WWE, but that WWE Championship that he won from the Royal Rumble was huge.
Yeah, definitely. Look, think about it this way. He came in with the WCW Championship at the time, right? Or the NWA Championship, whatever you want to call it. And I remember him holding it, saying that he was the real world champion. They were going to do a huge money match between him and Hogan. I don't know the schematics or the insides of that, why that didn't happen. I think Hogan vetoed it. Don't hold me on that one. But he did elevate the Macho Man Randy Savage. He, Razor Ramon as well. He elevated Razor Ramon. Perfect. Flair did a hell of a lot of, work and managed to put a lot of guys over in a very short period of time. Hell, name me one guy in a WWE roster at this point in time who could put about 4 to 5 guys over and elevate these guys to main event talent.
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. And who's not named CM Punk.
Exactly. The one-man band, baby!
So everybody's going Flair, or is anybody going to make a case for Lesnar?
It was tough. If you go by
Flair,
sheer dominance, Lesnar. But I voted for Flair.
But again, as I said, if you look at Lesnar's history as well, he's had a hell of, with his short time in the company, he had loads of amazing matches with great wrestlers, guys like Benoit, guys like Angle, even had an amazing match with Guerrero. But again, he was one of these big, strong monsters that plowed through the competition. And I'm never going to forgive him on his last day of the WWE when he stunk the place up with Bill Goldberg.
Well, this will be interesting to watch because right now it's 13-9 in favor of Ric Flair. So, unlike the next two matches, the other two they seem like they're pretty much done. That one's got a little bit more steam to it. Next one we have Ultimate Warrior losing right now to Shawn Michaels 20-3. Makes perfect sense. Ultimate Warrior, I argued for his vote over who was it last time around? It was Pedro Morales. I argued for him on that, but against Michaels. Michaels had a much better title reign as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Michaels carried the company on his shoulders. He had matches with Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Bret Hart. Won the very first Iron Man matches, WrestleMania 12. The Ultimate Warrior, yeah, he plowed through the competition, got the belt. Didn't really make the belt mean anything. The most meaningful title match he had, if you can attest to, was probably the match he had with Sergeant Slaughter, or the match he had with the Macho Man Randy Savage over the title, which I believe was in SummerSlam 90. I believe it was 91. I might be wrong on that one. But the Macho Man was the defending champion at the time. Warrior's career wasn't that great. He was one of those guys that his hype was worth more than his character. There was no character development. If you want to put him in comparison to someone, I would say Ryback, where he hasn't developed anything as of yet. There is potential there, and there was potential, but the Warrior burnt his bridges before he even was able to do anything else with his career. You know, and he made a lot of money for the WWE, including the fact when he sued the company. So, you know, I don't believe he would be as important as someone as Shawn Michaels, who literally carried the company on his back for more than one WWE Championship reign, was one of the pioneers of the Attitude Era with D-Generation X, and made a huge name for himself. Yes, a couple of his reigns stalled because he lost his smile, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And he was a bit of a political, back in the day. But I would put Shawn Michaels over the Ultimate Warrior any day.
You voting for HBK too, Dace?
Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
The end.
What about you, Urban?
I'm going HBK also. I mean, he showed that a little guy can be the main event guy. He was just around so much longer than Warrior.
Yeah, definitely.
He made it worth something.
There's a difference between someone who actually cared about what they were doing as opposed to someone who just cared about the hype. And even now, Warrior's peddling himself and his character, for so many years. He's living off of it.
Right. One Warrior Nation isn't paying him.
Exactly.
They're not even defending him on our Smack Talk episodes.
Yeah, because...
now everybody's going to go back to that and start flaming us again.
Fuck the Ultimate Warrior.
As I said, he was a pretty big deal, but, past the hype, there was nothing there. He wasn't a credible champion at all.
And the last one we have is Triple H against The Miz. Triple H winning right now, as he should, 15-7. As much of a fan of The Miz as I am, and as much of a pain in the ass I think Triple H is, there's no question. Triple H has much more to his resume about being WWE Champion than The Miz does. So, The Miz has
the most must-see WWE Champion of all time.
No, I've led my whole barrage about The Miz. I think The Miz is capable of being a main eventer. He's got a lot more runs left in him as champion. Triple H is one of those guys now. He's more of a commodity. You won't see him as a world champion at any point in his career.
I don't even want to see him against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I'm going to be pissed if they fucking do that, and it seems like they will.
Yeah, no, I agree. And but if you look at their careers, Triple H basically was one of the must-see WWE champions of his time. He had the McMahon-Helmsley era. He was retaining the title on more than one occasion. He had amazing matches with Mick Foley, more so than The Rock. I think Foley's matches with Triple H were damn amazing. Really set up the tone for the championship reign. He had great matches with Kurt Angle. Storied matches with The Rock, Steve Austin. Triple H really held the championship and was the heel face of the company at one point, and even took a backseat to Austin as part of the two-man power trip. And now he's doing his thing behind the scenes and attempting to, bring a fresh viewpoint to the company. And if you look at The Miz has had a good WWE Championship reign. Wasn't the best. I still believe he got overshadowed in his reign by Super Cena and The Rock. And I felt his reign was a bit bastardized in comparison to reigns of other champions. But I would, if you did a best world heavyweight champion list, CM Punk wouldn't be on, for me, would probably be voted off early as well, because he wasn't the best world heavyweight champion in comparison to his WWE championship reign. So I can see The Miz probably getting drafted to SmackDown and becoming a world champion and a very credible one. I don't see him as being a credible WWE champion anytime soon.
So, two Chris's. Either are you guys going to vote for Miz, or you're just going with...
I voted for The Miz.
You voted for The Miz?
He was the most must-see superstar on WWE television of all time.
And from Triple H?
At WrestleMania 26, he didn't win just once. He won twice. So that's what I'm saying. He's The Miz, and he is awesome.
That is a huge bunch of bullshit, Days.
Yeah, I know. I just don't like Triple H.
I don't like the guy as well, but, the fact that it still remains, he was a credible champion.
What do you think, Urban?
It's all about the game.
And how you play
it.
It's got to be Triple H. I mean, if you look at everything that he's accomplished and what the Miz has actually accomplished, the Miz just lost 3 consecutive matches to Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about WWE title reign. I think the game had a better World Heavyweight Championship reign than he did WWE title reigns.
I disagree. His World Heavyweight Championship reigns were terrible in comparison.
Yeah, because you hated him. He did his job. You hated him.
No, not really. It was the fact that he was trying to imitate Ric Flair too much. That was my problem. He tried to be the Nature Boy, and he's not the Nature Boy. He brought a whole new level to his character, but he sucked in comparison to the game back in the WWE era. And plus, I also think it's due to the competition as well. He didn't have much competition, in comparison to the WWE Championship reign.
Shawn Michaels most of that time.
Yeah, and that was the only credible contender. Everybody else was like...
Well, it should be interesting to watch. It should be interesting to see Triple H against HBK next round. More than likely, those two are going to win. The next group of matches we're going to have is going to be next week, of course, and that's going to be the end of round 2. So make sure you guys vote when you can for this one. It ends the normal time that they all do. And we will pick back up and tell you the results of what happened for this group of matches and go to the next ones next week. And the next part here, part 3, we're going to start talking about the Hell in a Cell review, and we're going to go match by match for that, and that should be the end of episode 53. So check out part 3 coming up right after this one in our playlist.